Hey guys, it's Damien here. This is random week, so we get to choose the topic we wanted. I couldn't really think of things I could talk about, but I guess one thing I could talk about that recently came up is the new movie that's related to transgender folks. Supposedly, if you haven't been living under a rock, it's called About Ray. And just recently, there was an article about the director talking about the film in a little more depth. And surprise, what they said was not surprising, and I saw this coming a mile away. Because the person, apparently, the movie was originally about two lesbians, from what I've read, and they thought they could interchange the lesbian character that was originally the main character to a trans man, which is extremely problematic because a trans guy is not the same as a lesbian. They're not. And for this person to be giving off that vibe and also saying a lot of mean things like this person misgendering their character Ray using female pronouns gives off the idea that this person has done little to no research on transgender people, is literally trying to make some money off the transgender media hype that's been going around since like early last year or somewhere early this year. Like, it's been happening all over. And also thinking that, giving off the idea that you're not really a man until you start hormones, so until then it kind of invalidates like trans guys who haven't been on hormones yet or don't plan on being on hormones yet and still identify as male. So it comes off as this really problematic thing. And of course, the first reaction to this very distasteful person is basically boycotting it, as like what other people are doing with the Stonewall movie and the whole whitewashing, and basically trying to make it into a movie that everybody will enjoy, basically more profit than actually historically or medically accurate. It's kind of like sex education, like what John Oliver says. Basically, these movies are not obligated to be historically accurate, even though they should be, considering the context of the movie. Stonewall was a real thing. You can't rewrite history, no matter what you put in a movie, and if you make it give off this vibe that it's supposed to be historically accurate and not just be some interpretation of a white cisgender man and all that stuff, it's a lot of problematic things. And the fact that I'm not really, now, I'm just gonna say this right now, I'm not really mad about cisgendered people playing transgender actors. I'm just gonna say that right now because I'm more a focus on the misinformation these movies are going to be giving about the history of the Stonewall riots, which I read about and also visited Stonewall Inn because I live in New York City. I can get there very reasonably. It's just like a couple of train stops away. And then talk about like a transgender boy as if it was interchangeable with a very butch lesbian, which is definitely not the case. So the media right now is not where we would like it to be, and I guess some could argue that I'm supposed to be grateful for what I'm getting, but honestly, these people are just not getting it and think that we're gonna see it regardless. And who knows? Maybe one person was trying to be optimistic and told me maybe they're just rewording. Maybe it's just poor wording and they're not making it sound like as bad as it seems. And while I'm not really holding my breath on that. It's just, it's just horrible. Anyways, I put some links in the description box if you want to read more about that, about the interview and how they were kind of indirectly insulting trans guys. You get to read that on your own time, but just a little trigger warning for those that who are sensitive about this topic, because the person did say some really insensitive things that would invalidate a lot of people's feelings, especially if you're not on hormones or don't plan to be on hormones and you're already kind of hanging on to a thread about your feelings and being seen as male by everybody, even though society says you're not a man yet. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. It's kind of been stirring up a lot of controversy in the community, if there was any, because some people are kind of defending it, and then of course there's a majority that aren't defending it. And right now it's a wait and see, but I don't think this is going to turn well for us. I think this About Ray movie is going to be the biggest misinterpretation of the 2015 year, and I'm kind of worried about what this would happen because a lot of parents are probably going to see that and they're probably gonna take what they learned from that and put it towards their own child and say they're probably like some deluded girl who can't live with being a girl and they just really need some help, and that's not the case. So I'm kind of worried what's gonna happen in the fall. So yeah. Anyways, that's what my take, my 2 cents on the topic. It's mostly a wait and see thing because we can always like speculate on what's gonna happen, and we're not until that thing comes out in theaters. And I'm kind of like on the fence of whether or not I should see that and make an opinion video about it. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I am really sweaty. I'm tired. It's been a long day at work. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I will see you next Thursday. Peace.